TJ, Coach B, what's up, buddy? I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Congratulations. How good's that feel? I appreciate it. Hey, keep in mind you earned it. You know what I mean? We talk all the time about we earn everything, and you've done this. Now we just got to work together to earn bigger things, you know? But, well, I know you guys got a big day there. What, 12, Coach said? Wow. Wow. Well, make sure you wear that hog real well, all right? All those other schools around, so we can go back there to Colquitt County and do it again, man. All right, man. Hey, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. All right, buddy.
Bye, TJ.
Well, there you have it, a little inside peek on this National Signing Day as we continue, and we welcome you back. We're inside the Players Lounge at the Fred W. Smith Football Center, and Quinn and I have the privilege of welcoming in now Rory Segrest, our defensive line coach and specialist coach in the kicking game. I want to make sure I'm saying that right, because we're going to talk about one of those in just a minute. But just first, generally speaking, and we've talked with some of the other coaches about this. It seems like there's a lot of anticipation going into signing day, and then kind of a big sigh of relief when it's over.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, anytime you come around, you never know what's going to happen. But everything went as planned this morning. We got the guys that we were anticipating, and definitely excited about this group of guys. You
seem like a guy who enjoys recruiting for the Razorbacks. It's your second go-round, I guess, in terms of second season recruiting. What's that been like for you this year?
You know, I got in late last year, and so I was kind of catching up on things right when I got in. But, you know, obviously we were on a great group of guys, and you know, obviously it shows with this recruiting class. You know, we were able to kind of get our foot in the door and get a grasp on some guys that we really wanted to target, and looks like we're doing pretty well with them.
All right, let's go to the tape. We're going to look at a punter. And I'll tell you what, if you're going to be a good team, your punter's got to be a weapon. Blake Johnson, Long Beach, California, Coach. You can see him right here on the highlights. What stands out to you about this young man?
You know, I think the thing you see with Blake is, I mean, he's not just a punter, he's an athlete. I mean, he's a guy who plays all over the field for his team there. He played, you know, some safety, some linebacker. I went out to watch him play this year and watched him on kickoff cover. I mean, he's running down, he's a physical kid, but when it's time for him to go out and compete, as far as the punting goes, he's as consistent as you're going to see. You know, like I said, he was all over the field for his team this year, and so they didn't do a lot of punting, but when that's what he's really focused on, he does a great job with it.
Quinn, he looks like a football player, not just a punter. He looks like a football player.
Absolutely, and you've seen over the year, you know, what the kind of plays that Sam Irwin-Hill made. I mean, he was a weapon for us, not only just punting the football, but then also on fake punts, and he showed a lot of athletic ability. So it's great to see a guy in the special teams that can really add a lot of value, not only just kicking the football.
Coach, we focus so much on offense and defense, and that's understandable, but special teams a third of the game, and sometimes it seems to matter even more than that.
Well, you know, there's such a large amount of yardage at stake every time the ball's punted or kicked or any time it's exchanged there. And you know, those yards add up over the course of the game. And you talk about winning the battle of field position. And, you know, it's huge when you can get a guy in like Blake who can just give you that consistent punt, pin guys inside the 5-10 yard line, and really help you win that area.
All right, we're going to go back to the tape. And as we do, you'll recall just a moment ago, you saw Coach B on the phone. TJ Smith is the young man that he was visiting with, and special relationship, special player there, Coach.
You know, TJ's done a great job. I mean, he transferred in from North Carolina there and went to Colquitt County High School and played under Coach Rush Probst. And, you know, actually TJ's the third guy that I've signed under Coach Probst now. But, you know, TJ and I got close through the recruiting process. And, you know, he's a real versatile player. You know, he can come off the edge. He can move inside. I mean, he can do a lot of things. He's a big kid and going to continue to get bigger as the years go along here.
Quinn, I've heard not just Coach Segrest here, but some of the other line coaches talk about versatility. That's a big deal, isn't it?
Versatility, and he's nasty. You can just see the way he's running through those the offensive linemen and really making plays. You really like to see that production, and guys who can make plays in the backfield and create negative plays are really special people, and definitely he has that skill set.
When you're out on the recruiting trail, you're looking at a defensive lineman. What are some of the things you look at right away?
Well, first of all, just the quickness and explosion that the kid's got. I mean, that's something that, you know, everybody gets caught up in size and all that kind of thing up front. I mean, guys at this age, 17, 18-year-old, they're going to go ahead and continue to develop in terms of their physical size, and obviously once they get in the strength and conditioning program. But as long as they've got the movement and the explosion necessary to play up front, they'll continue to develop those other skills once they get here.
Well, we've still got some more to do before we get to the finish line. We are nearing the finish line of our signing day special. Our thanks to Coach Rory Segrest for joining us here on set. Quinn had an opportunity for a Skype interview with TJ Smith. We're going to give you an opportunity to hear that. Coach Mike Smith's going to be with us. Coach Beelan will be back, so stay with us. More to come, but right now let's go to the Skype interview.
Joining us now is Razorback signee defensive lineman TJ Smith from Colquitt County High School in Moultrie, Georgia. Welcome to the show, TJ.
What's going on?
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, man. Happy. One of the happiest days of my life.
You got a big smile on your face. You're looking good in that Razorback hat. Talk to me a little bit about what it means to be a Razorback now that it's official.
You know, just being an uncommon man, doing things the right way all the time. Living the type of lifestyle I'm supposed to live, and you know, competing in the classroom and competing off the field. So,
well, I love those comments. There's no doubt about it. So, and when you talk about the recruiting process that you went through, I think your lead recruiter was Coach Rory Segrest. Talk about your recruiting process and what swayed you to leave the state of Georgia and become a Razorback.
Well, you know, me and him were real close. He's from South Georgia. I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from North Carolina. But you know, he just helped me, you know, like the place. I understood. With him, I began to understand what they were about, and I wanted to be a part of it. Took a visit there, loved it, and I know that's my new home. So.
Well, absolutely. We're definitely glad to have you. And you know, Coach Segrest can definitely do some coaching. You know, he coached up Trey Flowers and Darius Filine. Both of those guys, they definitely could hunt. And so
yes, sir.
When you look at the defensive line and just really trying to win from an SEC standpoint with, you know, going too deep and having defensive linemen you can run in and out, talk about what you hope to contribute when you get on campus.
You know, I want to be, you know, a great guy in the locker room. And then, you know, all I can say is I'm going to give my all. You know, I give everything that TJ Smith got, and that's all I can give, and we'll see what that can do.
Well, that's awesome, TJ. I want to thank you for joining us today, and congratulate you and welcome you to the Hog Razorback family. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, there you have TJ Smith, one of the new Razorbacks, defensive lineman out of the state of North Carolina. And now we welcome Coach Michael Smith to our broadcast table, and all you guys are running around. I mean, we got shots of stuff going on downstairs. Everybody's got the cell phones working. It never stops, does it?
It never stops, but I'm glad to put mine down. I'm glad to put it down.
This is a day where you've had an opportunity to see the culmination of some work, and I want to talk about a couple of your players. We'll remind you again, Dominique Grate's letter of intent came in about 10 o'clock or so, maybe a little bit after that. And we'll talk to Coach Smith about him. You've seen some of the highlights, but want to get Coach Smith's take also. But right now we're going to go to some tape and look at Kendrick Jackson out of the state of Louisiana. He's a linebacker, and I know you're proud of this young man.
I'm very proud of him. You know, he's a guy that I've been on for a long time, and the thing I love about him is he's a great young man. Plays the game the way you want to play it. You know, a lot of people don't know this guy has been in the state championship down in Louisiana 3 years in a row and won 2 of them back-to-back here the last 2 years, but he's also their starting quarterback. He's their starting point guard, starting shortstop. I mean, he is the king of Haynesville, and we're so glad to have him in our program.
You know, you're talking about a guy. These are not, you know, when in baseball, shortstop's a pretty prominent spot. In basketball, being a forward, shooting guy, that's a pretty prominent spot. I mean, this guy's accustomed to having the ball in his hands and accustomed to making plays, it would seem like.
There's no doubt about it, and I think as people will watch Kendrick continue to progress, and, you know, what Coach Franklin, those guys did with him down there in Haynesville, they put him in positions to thrive as a leader, and Kendrick embraced it, and like I said earlier, we're just so excited to have him, and I really enjoyed recruiting him.
Quinn, I remember years ago when Coach Hatfield signed you, you said, I'm coming not just to win games, I'm coming to win championships.
Absolutely.
And you talked about how he'd won championships. When you have players that have won, how much does that mean?
I think it's the biggest thing in recruiting. You know, I go back to last year recruiting Dwayne and Henry. You know, they were state champions. Jared and Santos were two guys that were state semifinalists. That's kind of some of the first things I do. I want to go after guys that are used to winning because I think winning breeds winning. And when you get those type of kids into your system, they don't know what it is to lose, and they hate it. And that's a internal attribute that I think is so big in football.
All right, we're going to go back at the tape. Some of you have seen this. It's a highlight reel worth looking at again. Dominique Grate, his letter of intent rolled in this morning. 6'2", 172, Coach.
What I love about Dominique is that he can stretch the field. You know, I think that's his best attribute. The guy's a heck of a football player. You see on this highlight tape, I mean, he can put his foot in the ground and make plays, change directions, and he's real natural catching the ball. But what I think he's going to bring to our program is a guy that can stretch the field, and we definitely need that, especially in my room.
Quinn, you threw to some pretty good receivers in your day. What about this guy?
He's a quarterback's dream. I mean, you know, they talk about, you know, having receivers who can really make plays. And he's a guy that, like Coach talked about, he gets behind the defense. And one thing I noticed, too, when you get in a jump ball situation, he has the ability to go up and catch the football. I thought his hand-eye coordination was really, really great. And he's a guy that wants to fight to get to the end zone. He's not a guy that's just going to catch the football and fall down. The defense is going to have to make a play in trying to tackle this guy.
And it bears mention again, young man from Camden Fairview, and Kendrick Jackson, young man from Louisiana. That's the backyard right there, Coach. That's our territory.
That's the backyard, and you know, a lot of those coaches down there have a lot of respect for what we do as a football program, and they're great football coaches, and we have a lot of talent down in Louisiana, and I'm gonna continue to go in the backyard and try and get as much as I can.
Coach, we're glad you're here. Thanks for being here today.
Appreciate you guys.
Coach Michael Smith, our wide receivers coach. We've got more to do. Stay with us. We'll return in a moment on the Razorback Sports Network and SEC Network Plus.